I am a pro FIFA player and I'm going to give you my 5 best attacking tips to help you score more goals in FIFA 23. And how we're going to do that is by following the trusted checklist. Firstly, I'm going to tell you the tip, then I'm going to show you how to perform it, and then we're going to analyze examples to show you how to use it most effectively. Tip number 1 is the German cross, a name that you might have heard in the community. A lot of people, especially in the pro community, talk about it all the time. I'm going to show you what it is. The German cross is basically the most outlandish cross you will ever see, but there is key elements to it. You have to do it with a fullback, and it goes through your centre midfielder who runs behind the defence. And to clear it up, this is a cross that was massively popularised by the German pro players. They're the first people that figured this out, and that is why it's got its name, the German cross. Now we know the backstory. How do we actually perform it? Well, there is a couple of moving parts here, so make sure you're listening. The first part is you have to trigger a run of the midfielder, and how you do this is by pressing the L1 button. And to make sure you're able to trigger the run of the midfielder you want, you have to be facing him when you do it. There is another way. As you get the ball to the centre midfielder and you're looking to pass it to the right back or the left back, you press L1 whilst you also press X for the pass, and then that will trigger his run as soon as he's passed the ball to the left back or right back. And once you've triggered this run, there is 2 key parts to this. One, you have to face a certain angle with your right back and left back for this to work. The fullback has to be slightly facing off the pitch. And then the timing is all about making sure you cross it at the exact perfect time, so then the centre midfielder will run onto it beyond the centre back, and then he'll be able to get his head to it, as performed by me, or volley it. He might not always head it. It can be a volley as well. And now let's analyze an example. You'll see here, Yaya Toure is my midfielder in question. And I get the ball with him, and I know that what I want to do. I know I want to set up a German cross. So the first thing I do is press L1 and X at the same time as I pass that ball to Capdevila. This means that Yaya Toure is now on the run. And you'll see here that I walk with Capdevila. You cannot do a German cross when sprinting. Please make sure that you're walking for perfect accuracy. So then with Capdevila, as we mentioned, the way I'm facing is very key. And now I'm waiting for the perfect time to cross the ball. I know when to do it. It's just about when Yaya Toure is about a yard or 2 behind the defenders. So then by the time I make the contact with the ball, he'll be in behind and he'll pick that ball up. You're looking at 3 bars to 3.5 bars of power. That will be the sweet spot. If you do it too little, won't go very far at all. You overpower it and you do full power, they'll probably kick it out of play. And then once a cross comes in, you can freestyle. Feel free to take a touch. You might want to shoot first time. You might want to header it, volley it. It just depends on how the ball comes in. It's not always 100% consistent. There's no golden ticket here. There's many different ways you can finish it, but with what you do know now is the German cross. So let's summarize it once again. First note is to use L1 or L1X to trigger the run of the midfielder. Make sure the fullback is at the right angle to perform the cross. When you do the cross, do it at 3 to 3.5 bars of power. Don't be holding sprint when performing the cross. And the final note is to make sure you get your timing right. Tip number 2 is to learn time finishing. How do you do time finishing? Firstly, go into your controller settings and make sure it's turned on. Sometimes turned off. Maybe you're playing with it off and you haven't realized. Secondly, it is about hitting circle twice. And when you press circle the second time, it's as you're about to connect with the ball. There is a window for this, and it is going to take you a hell of a lot of practice, I promise you. I have been doing time finishing all year, and trust me, I still hit a lot of red and yellows. Red means it's an absolutely terrible shot. Yellow means you're close, but not good enough. Green is what you're trying to hit. And then if you see a white indicator turn up, it's because you've gone too late. But a white indicator isn't too bad because that is just a normal shot. Time finishing is so useful because it makes your shots more accurate and more powerful. So meaning more chance of them flying in the back of the net. I believe with the way FIFA 23 is, you should be aiming to green all your shots, because some other FIFAs, it hasn't been that case, but this is one of them games where every shot you do, if you make it green, you'll notice a difference. You'll see in this example here, I'm bearing down on goal with Nkunku, and I know the keeper is on rushing, and I'm scared of on rushing keepers. And I thought, you know what? I've only got space to perform a shot. Now, I was worried that the keeper's going to save this, because I know what keepers are like when they're coming out on goal. But as I power up that shot shot of Nkunku, you'll see just as he's about to make connection with the ball, tap circle again, that green makes sure it goes in. Much more accurate shot, much more powerful. It's all you can ask for. And even with my normal shot here with Alawaran, you can see how satisfying it is. That is the other thing. Once you learn how to do time finishing, I promise it will make you so satisfied when you score. Let's summarize timed finishing and what is so important when learning it. So the first thing we need to know is not to change our shot. Don't think you have to do anything crazy here. Just keep powering your shots up like normal. The key part is timing it. So the second press of circle is the most important thing here. And my final advice on time finishing is practice, practice, practice. At the start, you might struggle with it. You might think, you know what, Tom, you are useless. This advice is useless. Time finishing is useless. Please bear with me. Practice as much as you can, and you'll notice over some time, you'll definitely get better at it. Tip number 3 is a trivela. And I know you're sitting there right now thinking, Tom, we've already been through this. We know how good a trivela is. You've told me 100 times. But trust me, I've got brand new information and you're going to want to hear it. So let's go to the roots. Before I get excited, let's go to the roots. How do you do the trivela? It is pretty simple. You shoot, but you hold L2 whilst you do it. I have noticed it actually works a lot better when you do a ball roll just before it. So you do a ball roll and you do L2 and circle. But to add another layer to that, I know it's getting a little bit complicated. You also have to green them. We just spoke about how good time finishing is, and to do the trivelas, you need to be greening them. So they need to be timed to absolute perfection. And before I show you an example, there is a final layer. Luckily, this isn't anything you have to do now. It's just something you have to be aware of. The trivela, or the green trivela we're going to know it as, is actually best performed with players with just under 89 or 89 shot power. So let's look at some examples. You'll see on the highlighted areas of the pitch, these are the best places to do the trivela. So all we're doing now is performing what I've already told you to do. Stop sprinting, do a ball roll, and then do the trivela shot green. And you'll see every single time it has that looping animation. You don't want it flat, you want it to loop like that. We just learned a hell of a lot there. So let's summarize this to make it nice and clear. The trivela, it needs to be green. To get the best angle on it, you need to do a ball roll just before it. You need to be using a player with 89 shot power or below. And the shot is best performed outside the box, just on either side of the box, just slightly in. Tip number 4 is to use the reverse Elastico when you're in the box. The reverse Elastico has been an overpowered skill for like 3 or 4 years now. It definitely works very well in FIFA 23. And I thought, I don't want to make this a skill moves tutorial. We have already done that. And if you're looking for skills, make sure you check out that video. But how do we do the reverse Elastico? Well, we need a 5-star skiller. You're only capable of doing this for someone who's got 5-star skills. And to make it easy for you, I'm going to insert a clip from my skill moves tutorial explaining exactly how to do it. We are facing the goal, which is 3 o'clock. We are going to be going from 12 to 9 this time, which is back round your player anti-clockwise. And for this one, it's a little bit complicated. So I'm going to show you how to do it at all 4 angles. Our clock will remain the same. So 12, 3, 6, 9, the exact same. Now, when we are facing up, we are going from 9 to 6. If you are facing down, it is 3 to 12. Remember, we are always going anti-clockwise. And when we're facing the other goal, it is 6 to 3. And now we know how to do it. Let's see where it's most effectively used. So for me, it is used inside the box to create space and then get your shot off straight after. If you didn't know already, I believe that shots are best performed straight after a skill move. No different for the reverse Elastico, and that is why it's so good. As we can see, I get the ball with Nkunku, pass it to Mbappe, and he's bearing down on goal. Now, I've got a defender in the way. I need to create space, and I need to create it quickly, and a quick change of direction is what's going to get me a shot off here. So what I do is a reverse Elastico, just round to the right, sole the defender a dummy, and then you shoot straight away. There is an added variation to this as well as a way of standing up a defender. If you tap L1 first and then do reverse Elastico, you'll notice it's ever so slightly different. So when you tap L1, your guy will just stand still, and now you're in a guessing game with a defender. Are you going to go right or are you going to go left? And considering how quick the reverse Elastico is, as soon as you pull it off, you'll be away from him and you'll be able to get your shot off. But that's the way of doing it, really. I think you'll struggle at times to do the reverse Elastico at every single angle, because I still do myself. I would say find the ways of doing it to suit you. Find the ways that are most effective. To summarize, the reverse Elastico, you are rotating your right stick a quarter of the way round anti-clockwise. You need a 5-star skiller to be able to perform this, and we are using it in the box to create space for a shot. Tip number 5 is how to finish in 1v1 situations. And what we're going to do is show you 3 ways on how to finish 1v1s. The 3 ways are: 1, waiting for keeper movement; 2, heel to ball roll around the goalkeeper; and 3, a chip shot. Let's start with number 1, waiting for keeper movement. This one, you don't need to know how to perform it, you just need to use your brain. When you're in 1v1, a lot of the time people will move their goalkeeper. They're going to try and move in one side to try and give you a maximum chance of saving it. They're going to try and guess where you're going. So what you can do is just wait. It is a matter of composure, and it is a matter of remaining calm when bearing down on goal. You can see in an example here when I have it with Jairzinho, and he thinks you're going to shoot across goal, but I think, hold on, I know you're going to move your keeper. So what I do is wait. I see him move his keeper. As soon as he does that, I shoot near post. Don't have to do anything. Doesn't even have to be green, because his keeper's gone so far the other way that I've now got an open goal that side. The second way we're going to get into is the heel to ball roll. How do we perform the heel to ball roll? It is the L1 whilst doing the heel to heel. So the heel to heel is right then left on your controller, or up and down, depending on what way you're facing. Could be left and right, could be down and up. It can be all 4 ways on the analog stick, but you're holding L1 whilst you do it. And once we know how to do the heel to ball roll, we're now going to do it around the goalkeeper. So this is best used when the goalkeeper is running out on you. Let's look at an example of how this is used in game. So I'm with Mbappe, I'm 3-2 down, 73rd minute, and I'm bearing down on goal, and he doesn't really bring his keeper out. He pretends to, and then he keeps him back on his line. But you can see anyway, I've committed to doing the heel to ball roll now. I do it, and it then gives that keeper a little bit of a weird animation, and it opens up the angle perfectly for me to finish that off. And the third and final way of finishing a 1v1 is the chip shot. To do the chip shot, you just do a circle, then you're holding L1 at the same time. With the chip shot, you're looking for around 2 to 3 bars of power. Depends on how far out you are really, but I reckon on average, you're looking at 2 to 3 bars. So this is best to do if you can see the keeper rushing out on you, and he leaves a lot of space. And again, like a lot of these tips, it is about timing. Don't do the chip shot too late, because if you're too close to the keeper, it will just hit him. And don't do it too early, because the keeper will just catch it and make you look like a bit of a mug. Let's summarize 1v1s and the ways you can finish them. It is either waiting for the keeper to move, doing a heel to ball roll around the keeper, or chipping the keeper. In every single 1v1 you have, one of them 3 will be the answer. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure you click here, because I promise you, you'll love this one as well.